everyone. Welcome back to the Ask Rebecca radio show. Thank you for joining me. A couple of quick announcements before we get into tonight's show. I've launched my first webinar series on manifestation. It's a 3-part self-paced online workshop to teach you how to manifest new beginnings in all areas of your life. So if you want to learn how to tap into your infinite supply of money, prosperity, love, and abundance, you definitely want to check out this course. For more information on what's included in the series and the 3 tiers of pricing customized to your needs, you can go to my website, AskRebecca.guru, and click on the online courses page. I wanted to make the course simple and affordable for everyone because I feel it's extremely important to know exactly how you create in this world and how you manifest. We're all very, very powerful beings, and we create our reality and what we experience on a day-to-day basis. And I feel like it's very important for everyone to know how to do that so that you can live the life that you truly want to live versus feeling like a victim of this world. And so also in honor of Mother's Day, I am still offering a 20% discount on all my services through the end of the month. If you'd like to book an appointment, you can call or text 407-374-3133 or email AskRebecca@gmail. Now on to tonight's topic. And the whole month has been themed around moms since May is Mother's Day in the United States. And the first 2 shows, I wanted to discuss the beautiful aspects of motherhood and some of the great things revolving around moms. These last 2 shows, tonight and next week, I want to discuss maybe the darker side of motherhood and signs of having a toxic mom. You know, we all love our moms, no matter how toxic they are. Deep down, it's a natural instinct to be connected to our mothers. We can't help but love them, even if we may dislike them or even if they treat us badly. There's this innate drive and force that we seek their love and their approval. And, you know, what I'd like to point out before we get into the signs of a toxic mom or parent is, you know, our moms and our parents, they learn from their moms and their parents, and it's something that has been passed down the line. So my hope is to foster some forgiveness and some awareness. I'm sharing these signs with you so you can become aware of what you may have experienced growing up and what you may be doing yourself with your own children. And bringing awareness is important in order to let go of the past and to break any future cycles. You know, this is not about beating anyone up or, trying to make people feel bad about themselves. But unless you can acknowledge the problem, then it's very difficult to make changes. And next week, I'll discuss more in detail on how to let go and actually, break some of these patterns. So the following are some signs you may have a toxic mother or parent or both, or you may be one yourself or all of the above. I compiled this list from lifehack.org. And these are typical patterns of behavior, not just one-time events. So if your parent one time did any of these things on this list, that doesn't mean they're a toxic parent. Toxicity is obviously something that is consistent and a pattern of behavior and happens over and over again. That's what I mean by toxic. So number 1 is the tough love approach. Now, obviously, tough love may work sometimes, but consistent tough love without positive affirmation and security can cause you to easily fall apart at any sign of rejection or perceived failure. And this is something that affects us throughout our lives. So if you experience tough love, you're experiencing everything from a fear-based level, then you're going to grow up as an adult and you're going to constantly worry about being rejected. You're going to worry about being a failure and being unsuccessful. So again, if this is something you're experiencing, you might want to take a look at your past and your relationships, going all the way back to your parents and maybe even grandparents. 2, they're overly critical. Normal healthy criticism teaches you how to do things properly. A parent who overly criticizes their child about everything they do can cause a child to develop a harsh inner critic in adulthood, which can be crippling and limiting. So if you're in your head and you're always beating yourself up and you're criticizing yourself, well, that's going to keep you stuck in life, and you're not going to have forward motion. So you might not take risks when it comes to your career or your relationships, because again, you're beating yourself up and having feelings of not being good enough. 3, they demand your attention all the time. A well-rounded parent will allow their children enough space to grow and be kids without demanding constant interaction to suit their own needs. And this can also fall into like the caretaking category. Obviously, it's different if you have an ill parent and you're going and you're helping them and you're taking care of them because they're sick. It's different when they're physically healthy and they can do things, but yet they're basically irresponsible people, and you find yourself raising your parents instead of them raising you. So this can cause some serious problems for you as an adult as well. 4, they make toxic jokes about you. Obviously, all parents and people, we pick on each other. We pick on our kids. You make a joke. But again, a toxic level is when the jokes become commonplace, and it's an undermining tactic that can make you feel badly about yourself. And again, if you're doing this or you've experienced it in the past, this builds, horrible self-esteem. Again, be aware and conscious of what's happening. 5, they cause you to justify terrible behavior. What I mean by that is, did you grow up believing your parent was physically or emotionally abusive to you because you deserved it? So when that happens, you internalized all the blame. And again, this can lead to, major issues in personal relationships in adulthood. 6, they do not allow you to express negative emotions. Parents who refuse to nurture their child's emotional needs and make light of their negative emotions are setting up a future where the child will feel unable to express what they need, and it may even lead to depression because they're unable to appropriately handle negativity as adults. 7, they scare even their adult children. This is respect and fear. They don't go hand in hand. Children who feel loved, connected, and supported are much more likely to be happy as adults. Discipline of some sort is inevitable, but again, using highly fearful actions and words can be permanently damaging to the human psyche. 8, they always put their feelings first. Parents may believe their feelings should come first, but this is an old way of thinking that isn't going to foster positive relationships. Toxic parents constantly force children to suppress their own feelings in order to appease their parents' feelings and needs. 9, they co-opt your goals. What I mean by that is your parents become overly interested in everything that you're doing and take over or duplicate you. So for example, you have to sell 50 boxes of cookies for school, then your mom decides she's going to bake cookies and hand them out for free to the neighborhood. Well, that's obviously going to make it a lot harder for you to meet your goal of selling 50 boxes of cookies. 10, they use guilt and or money to control you on a regular basis. Basically, if you fail to do as your parent wants, they may try to manipulate your feelings by using guilt or money as if you owe them because of everything that they've done for you or sacrificed in their life. And, the guilt thing, I think the majority of the planet deals with guilt. It's really annoying. It's really frustrating. And guilt is basically unexpressed, it's anger that you feel like you're not allowed to express. So if you're using guilt as a manipulation, please stop, because it's really annoying. And if you experienced it growing up, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. 11, they give you the silent treatment. This is passive aggressive behavior. This type of treatment is damaging and immature. Treatment like this hurts any type of relationship and forces the recipient into feeling pressured to fix the situation, even if they didn't do anything wrong. If a parent is mad at, if a parent's upset or mad at your child, then express it, and just excuse yourself for a few minutes and say you need to step away from the room until you can calm down, and then come back and talk to your child instead of ignoring the child. 12, they ignore healthy boundaries. For example, a toxic parent may open their child's door without knocking first. And, I know parents think like, well, my house, I can, walk in whenever I want. But again, this is setting up a pattern that makes it hard for your children to properly recognize and understand boundaries later in life. So to you, it may seem like a simple door in your house that you own and they need to abide by the rules. But again, this has a huge impact in the future with boundaries in all aspects. Now, 13. They make you responsible for their happiness by telling you how much they gave up for you in connection with their unhappiness. So they're basically placing unrealistic expectations on your role in their life. And this type of behavior will make it difficult for adult children to understand that we're all responsible for our own happiness. Happiness is a choice, and no one can make you happy. Not your parents, not your friends, not your boyfriend, not your girlfriend, not your husband, not your wife. Like, you are the only person that can make you happy, and everybody else is just an extension of that happiness. 14, they have problems and ask you to conceal them. For example, a parent that may have some sort of an addiction or financial problems, or want you to lie to other family members on their behalf. This can create a chaotic childhood environment filled with embarrassment, isolation, and the inability to trust. And again, this is something that will affect them for years to come in their life if they can't work through that. And lastly, 15, they refuse to let you grow up. What this looks like is they demand the same level of control over you that they had when you were a child. So they undermine your decisions and harass you to change them. And if you don't listen or don't do what they want, they become extremely aggressive or puzzled and or offended that, you're not listening to them. They're the mother and, all of this stuff. So again, just kind of be aware for these things. And whether or not these patterns showed up in your childhood and are affecting you now, or if they are things that you're actually creating in your own relationships, not just with your children, but with anyone else. And last little thing I'd like to share with you before I do the moment of Zen and take a caller is Dorothy Nolt, an American writer and counselor. It's a little thing that she wrote that I want to share with you because as a mother, I feel it's especially helpful as a reminder in raising children. And if you can, I'm pretty sure you can find it online and maybe print it out, put it on the refrigerator, frame it, whatever. I think it's a really clever tool to have. And so I'll share it with you really quickly. It's called Children Learn What They Live. If children live with hostility, they learn to fight. If children live with fear, they learn to be apprehensive. If children live with pity, they learn to feel sorry for themselves. If children live with ridicule, they learn to be shy. If children live with jealousy, they learn to feel envy. If children live with shame, they learn to feel guilty. If children live with encouragement, they learn confidence. If children live with tolerance, they learn patience. If children live with praise, they learn appreciation. If children live with acceptance, they learn to love. If children live with approval, they learn to like themselves. If children live with recognition, they learn it is good to have a goal. If children live with sharing, they learn generosity. If children live with honesty, they learn truthfulness. If children live with fairness, they learn justice. If children live with kindness and consideration, they learn respect. If children live with security, they learn to have faith in themselves and those around them. If children live with friendliness, they learn the world is a nice place in which to live. And I think that's just really beautiful. And again, I feel if you're a parent, it's a great tool to use for yourself. So let's do a quick moment of Zen to release any toxic emotions surrounding our moms or parents or any issues that we may have when it comes to our families. So let's begin by closing your eyes. Open your palms, tell yourself you're open to receive, take a couple of deep breaths in and out, and then just relax and breathe normally. And I'm going to ask your guides and my guides and all of that love energy to flow towards you and open up anything that you need to release and let go of contributing to parents and family. All right, open your eyes. Let's take a caller. Hi, Pam. You're in Las Vegas, Nevada. How are you?
Hi, I'm fine, Rebecca. How are you? Good information you were putting out there. Did you say that the website was lifehacks.com for that list?
It's lifehack.org.
.org. Yeah, very interesting information. I was sitting there listening to that and seeing how especially my mother and how we relate, how we act as adult children with our parents. So both my parents are deceased, but I am a grandmother with 3 grandchildren that I watch about 3 to 4 times a week. So this is actually pertinent information to have. So thank you.
Oh, you're so welcome. I'm glad that I was able to help you with that. And, the funny thing is that I do feel that some of, the relationship with your parents have affected some of your relationships. And I made a couple of notes, and I kind of feel like you're in this space of wanting to make some life goal changes yourself. So I kind of feel like maybe you've been dealing with like a specific challenge or obstacle that you wanted to overcome. And I feel like it's something that you've been dealing with. So I kind of feel like it's surrounding an imbalance of love and fear, right? So I feel like you have all this love in your heart and you love so greatly. And I feel like you're an awesome grandmother with your grandchildren and with your children. I feel like you went through life wanting to not do what your parents did.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I feel,
yes, exactly.
So I feel like you've just worked really, really hard at not being like them. But at the same time, I feel like they have affected you in the way when it comes to the fear side of things. So I kind of feel like you've held yourself back in certain goals and aspirations and dreams that you've actually wanted to pursue. And I kind of feel like those things are coming up for you right now. Like, I feel like you have a specific goal in mind, and there's something that you want to change, you want things to shift. So I feel like it surrounds work and love.
Well, yes. Okay, so yes, you're correct on so many levels, because when I grew up, I was told, when I was in all the advanced classes that, we can't afford to send you to college, so, take business classes, take shorthand and typing, but that's another story. I've resolved. I do a lot of energetic work as well, so I've worked on a lot of these issues that you brought up. But the interesting thing is, because I do find myself with 3 grandchildren and being the parent because the father is out of these children's life, and it's been, it's been quite a challenge the last 2.5 years. And in saying that, my and I don't really want to call it a fear, but, subconsciously it probably is, because since, I took care of my parents when they were sick, and then, then there was a year of moving in with a boyfriend, and that didn't work out because we were all shifting, and now here I am in another family relationship, taking care of kids. I mean, to help my daughter out, she's living in the family home that I inherited, and I'm not living with them, which is a good thing. But, you know, the question that comes up, yes, I need my solitude, my meditation room. And so the question that comes up is the family responsibilities, and I've worked on this in energetic healings well, and bringing in that love relationship, because after being with 3 kids, which is quite a bit of draining on my energy, when I go home for the weekend, it's like I just sit and I have turned into a couch potato, which is not me, because I have to re-energize myself, you know, and being calm from being in the hectic 3 energetic kids and a lot of fighting between the boys and things. And, you know, I guess if it's going to be a fear is, how can I want to accept the new relationship that's coming in, but where do I fit the love relationship in when I'm in such a responsible position of being a grandparent / co-parent, you know? So that's basically where I'm at.
Well, I do feel like... I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, any take on that?
Oh, yeah. So I do feel like that energy is about to shift. I feel like you're going to shift from that kind of lethargic feeling after dealing with the kids and coming home and just vegging out. To me, that feels like you're by the end of June, you're going to have a lot of energy, and I feel like it's going to be building from now until then, where all of a sudden you're just like, whoa, I don't even know where all this energy came from. And because I feel like right now you are being energetically shifted to kind of figure out your boundaries, right? You've always been the caretaker. Like, you took care of your parents, you took care of your kids, you took care of your exes, you took care of, you know, your daughter's kids. And you've had the fear part comes in is that you've had a difficult time setting the boundaries with all of these people in your life because of the fear of hurting them, fear of, you know, them being upset with you.
Not being a responsible daughter. Not being a responsible daughter. Yep.
That's the connection of the fear. So, you know, it's more about you worrying about their feelings instead of yours. Now, with the grandbabies and your daughter, look, she made the choices that she made. She has children. This is okay for you to set the boundaries. I do feel like if you set some boundaries with her, she's going to be a little resistant to it. I feel like she can get pouty sometimes. I do feel like I feel like she can, even as an adult, she can still kind of throw a hissy fit, and she's actually pretty good at emotionally guilting you into stuff, right? Like the role is almost reversed.
You know what? It's so funny because I have gotten a lot better, because last year I was watching the kids 4 times a week, and I said, this is too much for me. I can't do it. And then I had some resentment, and she goes, well, Mom, if you're going to have an attitude when you come over here, then I don't even want you to babysit. And I looked at her and I said, honey, I told you I cannot handle 4 days a week with 3 children. I said, I had 1 child for a reason.
Right, exactly.
So I am putting boundaries in. You're absolutely right. I have put boundaries in. It's gotten, slightly better, but I will say with these boys, I've had a lot of energetic work done with them too, because they didn't even have, in their past history, any past having a normal family as opposed to a dysfunctional family, what love is about in a house. And, so I am aware of things that come up relative to these boys, but this constant fighting is, a lot for me, and I know boys fight, but this is fighting that's like the older one, the 13-year-old, punishing the 9-year-old because the 9-year-old won't shut up and wants to have the last word, and the 13-year-old, his emotions are like right under the surface, and
right,
so there's been a lot of conflict relative to that. So I've had a past life experience to come out of, as you said, not to put up those boundaries and just try and be the grandma, and I do my best to do that and try not to get involved in the situation, and that's shifting right now. That is something that's occurring right now. So
yes, it's definitely shifting for you. And the boys, that it's stemming from not having their father in their life, and I feel like it's affecting them in a way where they're feeling rejected on some level. Normal is all relative. Like, I feel like they're in a stable environment at this point. They're in a house, they have you, they have their mom, they're going to school. I feel like with them, I only have 2 minutes left, so I'm going to try to make this quick, but I feel like with them, you've just got to also not feel bad for them, right? You're taking on the responsibility of their father not being around and the situation that they've had to deal with. And I feel like if you actually express to them in a way where you say, hey, boys, grandma's feeling a little sad right now because you're behaving, the behavior is affecting me, or whatever the case. So expressing it in that way.
Right.
And then really quickly about the love thing. Now,
thank you.
You can have the love, and I feel like you can even be doing some passion, you're into energy work, you're totally spiritual, you have your own intuitive gifts and abilities. Like, I feel like you need to connect with that and start going to some groups and going out and networking. I feel like there's definitely somebody that will come into your life. My advice to you, because I feel this person coming in over the summer, maybe towards the end of the summer, as long as you're putting yourself out there, you've got to put yourself out there, Pam, otherwise this won't happen. But the advice is, you're going to be tempted to go too far too fast. And this person may even try to rush. I feel like you guys are both going to be in the same place where it's okay, we got to solidify this love, right? We've got to rush it along, but I want you to make sure that you slow it down and you just get to know each other and date and have fun. And I feel like financially things will be looking better, and I feel like maybe you even have a trip planned or something. I feel like you might pursue going somewhere that you've always wanted to go to.
Cool. Okay, well, thank you, Rebecca. I really appreciate you speaking with me tonight.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for calling in. And if you want to get in touch with me in the future, you can reach me at AskRebecca at gmail.com if you want to get together and talk some stuff out.